And I got the things. This is perfect.
Okay.
All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to the ABP Podcast. My name is Brennan Boyer, and I'm usually the editor, but now I'm hosting. Yay. And today I am here with...
Darcy.
What's your last name?
Johnson.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about the Enneagram today. So, Darcy, where are you from?
I am from Charleston, Illinois.
Okay. Tell us a bit more about yourself. Like, what's your major? What do you do? Who are you?
I am an audio engineering and commercial music performance double major with an emphasis in live, studio, and lighting design.
Mood.
Primary instrument is voice, secondary instrument guitar. I'm a songwriting minor. I'm also in a band called Frames that I'm going to promote.
Selfish plug.
At
Continue.
every given opportunity. What else? Is there more about me you'd like to know?
I don't know. I guess. What's your Enneagram type?
I'm a 4.
I'm sorry. I can relate.
Oh, I have a cat. Her name's Peach. Enneagram 4.
Yeah, I feel like the peach thing is what mattered most. So tell us 3 things you like to do in your free time.
My free time? Well,
what does free time look like for you?
Free time for me, honestly, like today I haven't had a lot of classes today, so I locked myself in the library and caught up on theory homework that I haven't done in a very long time. So honestly, in my free time, I like to do more work. But what is interesting about my life and my lifestyle is that a lot of what takes up my time isn't actually school. It's the things that I do for the school outside of my schoolwork. So
yeah, it's the extracurricular.
It's the extracurriculars, but also it's like the extracurriculars that I don't really have a choice but to be a part of.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not part of them, then campus doesn't run. So.
Yeah, audio engineering has a fun little guilt trip there. It's great.
Yeah. But also I like to like hang out with my cat and write little songs.
Which you should write a song about your cat Peaches sometime.
Well, her name is Peach, not Peaches.
But you could call it
Peach singular.
Peach singular.
But I would
But what if the peaches of the world?
Peaches of the world.
Peaches of the world.
I'll think about that.
Okay. So, where do you think you get your energies from in terms of being like extroverted, introverted, or in the middle?
I'm definitely extroverted. I have really bad FOMO, fear of missing out. I am definitely the kind of person who likes to hang out in large groups of people, but my circle is pretty small. I can talk to just about anyone, but there are very specific people that I like to hang out with. And you'll see me with those people all the time. But then there are other people where I'm like, oh, I really want to hang out with them. And then I like focus on them a lot, but I never actually get to hang out with them. And then people think I'm just creepy and like Claire. People are like, Darcy talks to Claire like she's a 15-year-old boy talking to his first crush.
Yeah.
But it's just because I think Claire's cool and want to be her friend.
She's super cool. So like, what institutes like getting within the draft of like Darcy's close friend group?
The draft?
The draft.
Oh my
What
goodness.
is?
I don't know. I'm a very intense person.
Yes.
I can be very aggressive. But I don't know. I think if you're just genuinely kind, and are also a good listener, we're more compatible because I don't know how to listen to people. I talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and I never shut up ever. So you have to be a good listener. And I don't have like set rules of like this is the kind of person that
Yeah.
I will consider being friends with, and if you don't fit these qualities, then I won't even
I know.
consider
This
you.
is just like
But
like a general aspect.
yeah, just
you know,
like nice people. I'm a very passionate person. So it's always easier whenever I talk to people that share my beliefs because I'm very outward about my beliefs. So yeah, I'm also very stubborn.
No.
So it's and the fact that you and I aren't even like real like homies, but you still like
Yeah.
know these things about me.
I know, and it's like that. Like part of it was asking, not that I'm applying to be the friend here. I'm just curious because it was just interesting realizing that we have been in so many different classes together and have had like a lot of different like passing moments where it's just like, oh yeah, we kind of know each other. But like I've always been like, Darcy's in a group. I'll go do my own thing. You
Yeah,
know,
you're welcome
like,
to hang out with me though.
aw shucks. But yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is I just don't think to invite other people into my group because I don't have time to think about anything.
Oh,
like this
because
podcast.
then that's thinking of a whole other person.
This podcast, I got an email yesterday saying, "Can
Shout
you
out to
be
mine.
there? Can you be there at 2:45?" And at 2:49, Zane walks out. I'm sitting doing my homework on Hogue Lawn, and he's like, "There's a podcast waiting for you." And I was like, "Oh no!" Like I don't remember anything because my brain is too full of like a
No,
million
I
and
get
one
it.
thoughts that I can't remember anything.
Yeah. I like today I skipped classes just so I could get like the extra bit of homework done. So that was completely relatable. But yeah, because it's thinking of like a whole other person to where you can barely think of things for yourself and it's crazy.
Yep.
So next question. How does I should probably so in terms of a good definition of what a 4 is, which is what you are. That is all you will ever be. Is being a type 4 is they're kind of the artist. They're very in tune to their feelings. They're self-aware, sensitive, and reserved, and are very emotionally honest and creative. Which, of course, that definitely relates to you in every single way. But how do you think being I'll say creative and emotionally honest has affected your social standing and different stuff on campus?
Funny you say that. So I just released a song called Dear, and it's a song that I wrote for my mother. My mom and I have always had a very interesting relationship where we love each other very much, but we're both very blatantly honest with one another, and it's caused a lot of like issues.
Oh yeah.
And so I was in the car with her and I played the song for her and she's like, "Who's this song about?" And I said, "You." And there's a line in the song, the whole chorus of the song is because for some reason I still love you, someone who says things like you do. The world is out to get me, and I really don't think it used to be like this. Held hands and went down slides. When did your life become mine? And so, like, my art has always been very honest. I've never written a song that doesn't come from real life experience. And it's been an interesting thing to like acknowledge and become comfortable with. Like if I'm in a relationship with someone and they break up with me or I break up with them, they're gonna have a song written about them, you know?
Yeah.
And that's been like Peach Pit.
Oh.
That has caused some issues in my life, especially with friends from back home, because they all know who the song's about. The person that the song is about knows who the song is about. And so it's been difficult to reconcile with the fact that my art might be the reason why I stopped being friends or, you know, being acquaintances with certain people. But I also, like you said, am so in tune with my emotions that like my art is more important because that's really the only way I know how to express myself.
Yeah, that was really good to hear. Cause like both knowing about like one, you wrote a song about your dad, which we're not gonna go into that backstory. But knowing how, and of course knowing the backstory of Peach Pit, it's just kind of like I know that you. So it's nice to hear that, like, kind of the behind the scenes of like how people have kind of interacted with those songs.
Yeah.
Uh, so, ooh, let's see. Now we're getting to the core fear part.
Sweet.
So the core fear of a type 4 is they feel like that they don't really matter or have some level of impact on the world. Like the level of as much as you can try to do something or do something as creative or shout your emotions from the mountaintop, uh, it won't really leave an impact. I'm being artful with it because I'm a 4 and also feel these things.
Yeah.
So how does that relate to you and kind of how you've grown up in different ways?
Sure. I have always wanted to be a musician because frankly I'm not really good at anything else. And
Mm.
I know so many people that are like, "Oh, Darcy, you're good at other things. Like you're good at so many other things." Bella. But like genuinely, I personally feel, and I'm self-conscious. I'm a 4. I'm
Yeah.
self-conscious. So I'm very aware of the things that I'm not good at. Like I'm terrible at math and science and that kind of stuff, but I've always been good at liberal arts. I'm good at art, I'm good at music, I'm good at speaking, and I'm good at dance. But those are like the few things I'm good at. And so I've always known that I will never be a doctor or a police officer or
Yeah.
something like that, something that is not artistic. And I know that being a musician is very hard because you're fighting with so many people that want the same thing that you do.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot easier to become, a teacher and change the lives of children by, educating them, teaching them to read, teaching them to
Yeah.
write. But my music might never reach a big audience, and that's something I have to come to terms with. And having one good show doesn't mean that you've made it.
Mhm.
Having one good show means you had one good show.
Yeah. It's just a day in the life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's so real in this department, in this major, in this career, that you really might not ever make an impact.
Mhm.
You might be busking on the street for years before you ever get noticed by anyone. So yeah, that is a very real fear of mine.
Yeah.
And it is something that I'll probably hang on to for a
Yeah.
very, very long time.
And I can definitely relate because for me, it's like there are the idols in Greenville of just like, oh, you're doing frames. Zane is doing everything. Everyone else is doing everything. And then like I'm here where it's just like, I don't know. Maybe. And I think I can definitely relate to that fear. But I think for you, what I see is that like you did mention like, oh, I'm not good at all these other things, but I know I'm good at music. And I think there's like a lot there to where it's like, because for a lot of people it's just like, oh, I can be good at every little thing, but I don't really know what to do with my life. But for you have that narrowed down. uh do you find like a sense of confidence in knowing that, or
I know that I have a very strong work ethic. And so being able to realize my work ethic and understand that that is something I will always have makes me a little bit more confident. Because I've always been very ambitious. Um, and um, I've always had the desire to be successful, and I know that also I live with a chronic illness. I kind of have to be successful in order to survive.
diabetes.
So I can't just be content with being pretty okay.
Yeah.
Like I have to work extra hard to ensure that I have um a livable salary, which sucks
Yeah.
that it all like comes down to money, but really that's how the world is.
It is.
If you don't have money, you don't have a livelihood.
Yeah.
And I would like to have a livelihood.
That would be nice.
So
Yeah.
there's that.
Yeah. All good things. All good things. So lastly, the big kicker. Do you find it difficult to set boundaries?
Well,
Like in social activities and classes, like.
yeah. I don't really, this is an interesting thing. I have FOMO, so I don't really desire to set boundaries. I don't want to set boundaries because then I'm missing out on things. So I'm up super early to get breakfast with a friend. Then I'm hanging out with people all throughout the day in between my classes. And then I'm running Blackroom Cafe. And then I'm performing at Blackroom Cafe. Then I'm tearing down that same Blackroom Cafe. Then I'm going to Twee setup. And then I'm running Twee in the morning. Then I'm tearing down Twee after Twee. And then I'm going to classes all day. Then I'm eating lunch with a friend. And then I'm going to choir. And then I'm going to Vespers. And then I'm tearing down for Vespers. And then setting up for a rehearsal. Then setting up for a senior recital. And tearing down that same senior recital. And that's just like a normal week for me.
Now, maybe, just maybe, that might be a little bit much for one human being.
Yeah, and it totally is. It's totally horrible. But it's what I love to do, and I'm so extroverted that like I can be around that for so much time, for so many days, for weeks and months on end. But as soon as it's gone, I miss it more than anything. You know, like I don't go to bed and think, wow, I spent so much of my time just around people and my social battery is so low and I need to not talk to people for 3 days before I can, come out of my dorm room again.
Yeah.
I'm like ready to wake up and do it again the next morning.
Dang.
Because of kind of what I talked about earlier, like that need to be successful and that desire to make an impact, but also because it's just what I love to do, which I think is something that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to experience while they're in college because you have all of these career choices. Like I could go into business, I could go into science or math or whatever, but I don't really love it. I'm not passionate about it, but I knew coming into school that this is what I wanted to do for sure. Because also my options aren't, super vast. Which is kind of, maybe a sad thing to say out loud, but also it's the truth. And I came to accept that pretty early on. So those boundaries, I think, would stunt my growth and my acceleration of success. So I frankly don't see myself setting any boundaries in the near future. Maybe that's something that isn't great for me physically or mentally, but
but like if it's something that you love and enjoy, I'm always like, kudos, go for it. But of course, like acknowledging its downsides and maybe at least taking 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's why like today's been great. I've just sat all day and done homework. And
now you're sitting talking into a microphone.
Yeah, and I love talking. So this has been really great.
This will probably be one of our longest episodes. But but honestly, I think that about wraps it up.
Sweet.
Thanks again to R.C. Johnson with the little glottal stop.
You're welcome.
And look out for our band Frames, who are always doing things and always changing members. And it's and they're doing great stuff.
Thank you.
And that's it.